Hey man, say man, what's up my guy? We are in week 16, sweet 16, and of course Merriam-Webster's word of the day is fortitude, a noun meaning strength of mind that enables someone to encounter danger or bear pain or adversity with courage. So do that information what you will. We always start with the working out. I think I forgot to mention, I've been getting a lot of stuff off this little from this little auction store that we got here in the city or whatever. So I actually bought me a little walking pad, treadmill or whatever, because, you know, as I stated, I'm employed again this coming Monday. So with that, I do got my book. With that, I got a little treadmill so I can, get my little steps in and get back right while I'm working. So I had 2 spins and 2 walking sessions on the treadmill. So, we're getting a little bit active or whatever. And gotta get the lifting and stuff again. I know last week, was it 16 or 15? I can't remember. I know one day me and the boys went to the park or whatever, and I got some shots up, and I ain't in nobody basketball shape, but I'm working on it. We're working in progress. So I ain't in basketball shape yet at all. But man, when I say a really solid week though. So got that. Jobs. I don't have to guess because I got my handy dandy Blue Schools notebook right here. So let's see what all we had today is. Hang on. Ooh, check the calendar. So we had 16 is the 16th to the 22nd. Alright. So 16th to the 22nd. We had, bam, there we go. 16th was Thursday. Like I said, I finished up that big job that I spoke about at the office. I finished that. And then I had a job where I put together a king bed and a queen bed. They were cool. It was just, it had been a long day, and my allergies, so that Thursday, my allergy sinuses, whatever, man, that was whooping me so bad. I was on the phone with my best friend, and we were talking, and I had a stop to make, so I made the stop. I was like, all right, when me and her get off the phone, then I go here and, run and handle my little business or whatever. And I forgot to order a lift for one of my bronze. And so I'm like, oh man, he hit me like, you still got me? Luckily I wasn't too far away. I was like, yeah, I got you, boom, I can get him to work on time. So I raced over there to get to him or whatever. And I had just ate, I don't know, I feel like it was the food, like not that there was anything wrong with the food, but it was like on the saltier side. I don't know if that's tied in, but I'm just, trying to put 2 and 2 together to make it equal 4. So I ate the food, it was delicious, it was heavily seasoned or whatever, so I'm pretty sure high sodium or whatever. And I felt my eye, and I'm like, nah, don't do that. And so my best friend was like, what is it? I'm like, yeah, my sinuses, allergies, whatever you want to call it, it's about to start whooping me. And she's like, yeah, I know your voice changed. I'm like, yeah, this about to be awful. And so she's like, what'd it do? I'm like, my eye's leaking right now. My nose is running. I got a tickle to it that turns to a stabbing pain, and then I'm gonna have a migraine. She's like, oh my God, that sounds horrible. I'm like, yeah, I think it's, tied to my allergies, but I'm thinking what I just ate might have triggered it too. And so she's like, all right, if it's allergies, she's a nurse practitioner, so a medical field background or whatever. She's like, go get some Claritin D, get some Sudafed, get an aspirin, and some Flonase, and Benadryl. I'm like, all right, cool. Of course, don't take all of them at the same time, but start pumping those or whatever, whatever, and you'll be straight. So I'm like, cool. I go grab them. I'm like, I'm finna take them right now. I call one of my bronze. I'm like, hey, throw a pot of water on so I can do a steam session when I get back to the house. He's like, I got you. So I tell my best friend, I'm finna go home, pump the medicine, do a steam session. I'll hit you back. She's like, okay, cool. Let me know. I think maybe she messaged me a couple times, whatever. I ain't answered. And then she called me, and it woke me up. I done fell asleep in a Walmart parking lot. And I think I was there for an hour and a half. So, did you take the stuff? I'm like, oh no, I'm still in the park. What? I told you this should get bad. It's hurt. I go to sleep. So it whooped me that day. But I'm about my bread, so I just powered through, persevered or whatever, and went and I finished those 2 beds, that king and queen bed, and it was not easy. But last week 16 showed me persevere, that I could persevere, man, because like I say, on that big job and that job, it was whooping me. And I didn't have an episode at all once I started doing the regimen and running those meds that she told me to take. I didn't have an episode, honestly, until today. And it still was a minor one, like in comparison to, on the scale of 1 to 10, the pain that I'm normally in, I say it might have been like maybe a 6.5, maybe a 7. Normally to get like a 12, 13. But it was like, all right, this ain't half bad. You know, I just sat there and it passed, you know, in a decent amount of time. I didn't even have to go to sleep. So I had that. I had, who's this? Oh, okay. I ain't put the A, that's why. My second client ever, they live down in the sticks or whatever in North Carolina, and they reached out and asked me to go to the sticks in South Carolina to the mother-in-law, the husband's mom's house, and put together a bed for her. So I actually took my nephew with me. He had spent the night at my house on Thursday and didn't go to school on Friday. So I was like, come on, man, I'm gonna put you to work and make some money, whatever. So took him with me, we put it together. And he's like, I like doing this or whatever. You know, of course he was happy to make him a little bit of money or whatever. And so I was like, yeah, you know, I have more jobs coming in summer, and I'll cycle through y'all. You know, my oldest, my youngest, and him, I'm like, you know, because my 2 bronze, like I said, they have, you know, full-time jobs or whatever. So unless I just got a really big job or something like that, I'm like, you know, if it's something small and I can put, you know, $10, $20, $30 in your pocket, then I grab, you know, sometimes over something so you can save some money. All right, yeah, I like doing this. So we did that. Then that was the 17th, Friday. Okay, then the 19th, I had a client that had reached out and they were like, they had a full-size bed that they needed assembled, and they had put in the message, I need you to know, I don't know what kind of screws or what the screws are, what kind of screws this bed takes. So you'll have to, you know, figure that out when you get here, or you might have to run to the store. I'm like, that's cool, I'll go get them. So I get there, I'm looking at the frame. You can't find the screws to this bed, literally uses no screws. It's like, there are pockets for the frame to connect, like connectors. And so it didn't need any screws. So I knocked it out. I literally was in the room. It took me 10 minutes to put the bed together. She's like, that was it? You done already? I'm like, yeah, you can't find the screws because it doesn't need an instruction. Oh, that was super simple. So, more than satisfied. I got some more stuff that I'm getting. I'm gonna call you because you did good work, and you fair. I'm like, for sure, okay. So I knocked that out. The big office job that I had, the one that I worked on was on the north side of town. And the person who had got me to do the job reached out, or when we communicated, they were like, I also have an office on the south side. There's these things called like coffee bars where you can put drinks and stuff like that, and a refrigerator in it. And so I did 3 of those at the north side office, and they wanted one done on the south side. So I was like, all right, cool. So I knocked that out on Monday, as well as pretty much the same thing at a client's house on the west side by where I went to like high school or whatever. Well, no, closer to where I grew up. Had a client reach out, like I say, hey, I have this pretty much coffee bar, can you put it together? I'm like, yep, for sure. So we talked about doing it Saturday, and that's the one that got rescheduled to Monday. So I knocked both of those out on Monday. And then today is Thursday. Yesterday, what did I do? What's today? Today is the, oh God, hang on, I forgot the date already. Today's date is, oh, well, technically it's Friday, so 21st, the 20th was Monday. That's when I did those. 21st, Tuesday. Okay, yeah, the 21st, my wealthy client that I said own a tech company had reached out, hey, I got a king bed and a playing card table. Can you put them together? I'm like, for sure. So it was just not even the frame of the bed, because he has an adjustable, like a sleep number bed or whatever. So that was already assembled. He just wanted a Cali King frame to go around it. So like literally just the headboard, footboard, and the side rails. I'm like, all right, smooth. So he was like, yeah, I looked, when I looked it up on the reviews or whatever, people were posting, they were like, you don't have to take the bed apart. It's easy if you do it together. Lies. Big lies. Oh my God. So this bed was super simple. Like the frame, dumb simple. I do this, you know what I'm saying? Like respectfully. I've been doing this now, and I'm very confident in my ability. So I'm like, king bed, regular frame, and I'm just doing it. I can knock this out in no time, say less. So I'm like, all right, I can do it how you said it. No, heavens no. That was a horrible freaking idea, man. Like, it added, had I just put the frame together by itself, it literally may have taken me, I'm gonna say between 30 minutes to an hour. I got this house at 2 o'clock. Of course, you got to unbox everything. So let's say I get started at 2:30, 2:45, somewhere around there. If I'm not mistaken, I believe I finished and was leaving this house at like 7 something like 5 hours. So I'm like, oh, I can't believe this, yo. And so he had to come in there and help me, like at the end, because it just wasn't enough room. Like I said, it made it much harder because you're trying to hand tighten and squeeze in between where there's literally like no space to tighten stuff. And it's like, yo, we were better off with me putting this thing together, lifting the bed in it. Like, that would have been so much easier. Like I said, literally added like 4, if not 4.5 hours to this job. So that was trash. And then with the table, it's like I think if I'm mistaken, that table was like $3,500 for like card table. Super nice. And I go to unbox that. I'm finna get to working on it. And no, you're not. Why? Because there were pieces, like the hardware that I needed, like the bolts or whatever, they were missing. So it's like, yeah, can't, assemble this or whatever. And I was like, I knock around the Home Depot or Lowe's or something and grab them. And he was like, nope, they gonna send them. They're supposed to send them. They gonna send them. I'm not in a rush. We got time. So I was like, all right. So I just did the bed, left. And then when I left his place, I had to run to a neighboring city and put together a quad monitor stand. And one thing that I'm not a fan of is clients, like I said, when I first started or whatever, and a client would tell me like, oh, I did some of it. Oh, cool, man. This going, no, I hate when people, I started it. Why? That's not going to help me. I promise. Because if you couldn't finish it, you probably like, so I go and I'm looking, I'm like, all right, she look like it's like maybe 1/5 of the way done, 20% done. No. Done use screws in the wrong place, so I got to take everything apart. And then she literally just couldn't find. I'm like, hey, there are pieces missing. She was, I had everything right there. I'm like, okay. So it's taking me forever. Like I said, I just pretty much what I should have just did from jump. Let me just undo everything, because again, this is a lot of assembly stuff. They'll send like a bunch of extra parts. No, there really were no extra parts. They gave you almost exactly what you needed. So it's like, all right, I need a longer screw here, or I did a short screw here. And when I'm trying to work from where she started, I'm like, nah, I'm missing pieces, and they don't have them. I don't have parts to match this in my like hardware or whatever in my toolbox. So forget it. Let me just strip down and start over. Strip down. Yep. The base that you attach, nope, use mismatched screws with that. So that took away from other places. So I was like, started over, whatever. And then I was able to say, okay, cool, and figure it out. Like, again, not saying nothing about the lady. Everything isn't for everyone. This is her strong suit. This is my thing. This is what I do, literally. You know what I'm saying? I get paid for it. So I figured out everything she did wrong. I'm thinking this is going to take like 30 minutes. It's a monitor stand. Like, those aren't complex. You know what I mean? I'm like, all right, this is going to be super simple. Not even a little bit. If I had got there and she hadn't touched anything, again, I'd have been done in 30 minutes. So I'm like, you know what? I'm not taking people's advice no more, suggestions. Don't touch nothing. Don't move, leave. Because that day right there, man, and my sinuses wasn't bothering me. It was just I was so annoyed because it was like, it was a much longer day than it had to be. And, for my quota or whatever, what I like to make it was like, I would have made about this or whatever, if I was working a 9-to-5 job or whatever. The money was there, but it was still like, oh my God, I could have made that money in half the time and went on about my business. You know what I mean? So I finally get done or whatever. And again, there are pieces missing. And she's like, no, I had everything right there. And I'm like, okay, well, either way, I'm finna go because I've done as much as I can based on what you had. If you don't see it, she was like, I had everything right there. She get to swiping, looking. 2 pieces right there on the bed. Okay. And then it was like earlier when I was working, she was like, no, I had everything right there or whatever. Other parts that she had moved or, lost, misplaced, put them somewhere else and didn't know where she had put them. It's like, all right, by this time, I think it was like almost 10 o'clock. Yeah, it was like 9:30, 9:45. And I got to his house at 2. So this is a full 7, almost 8-hour day. Yeah, I'm ready to go home, dog. I'm ready to go home. So I'm getting ready to leave. She was like, yeah, I'm looking for this or whatever to see. I got everything done as far as I could. It literally was one screw missing. And that one screw was like, hey, don't put this other monitor on here, because the screw that you're missing will hold it in place, hold the cap that anchors it in place and keep it from falling off and coming down. So I'm like, you got to go to like Home Depot, Lowe's or whatever, take the little one with you. So I'm not going to attach this one. All you have to do is screw this in and hand tighten it. You'll feel it. So she was like, I'm looking for it right now. And I'm like, that's fine, but I'm finna go. And I had to pick up my Braun or whatever. So I definitely wasn't enough for to take no long time messing with it. So I knocked that out. I go get my Braun or whatever. And so that was Wednesday, right? Yep, that was Wednesday. No, that was Tuesday. Both of those were on Tuesday. Wednesday, I had an all-day job. I literally got there like 9:30, I want to say, and I didn't leave till like 6:30. You know what I'm saying? So super long day. That's what, 9 hours? Yeah, 9 hours or whatever. I did a baby crib, a bassinet or whatever, a couch that was modular. People in these modular couches, boy, they make a job long. A modular couch, a dresser. Dressers are typically gonna be long. They have a lot of hardware that make sure that they're tight and they ain't gonna break if you move them or whatever. So dresser, I think, took me almost like 3.5 hours. A grill took me like an hour. The patio set took like 30 minutes. It was super simple. And her son's bed, which I think took like maybe 30-40 minutes, so that wasn't bad either. But just an all-day job, because it was a lot of stuff to put together and a lot of small parts, especially on that dresser. Like I said, it took up a bulk of the time or whatever. That couch took up more time than I expected too, because I didn't know it was modular. So now I ask, moving forward, hey, is your couch modular if somebody want me to put a chair together, because then I can, mentally prepare for, okay, now it's gonna take longer than you think, you know what I mean? So, yep, knocked that out yesterday, and I'm on the way back from a job right now. Congratulations to my cousin. Just moved from an apartment to a nice house, fancy, the big money cousin now. So went to help out over there, whatever, and just I'm happy for her. I'm really happy for her. It's a really nice place, and I can't wait to see her make it her own. I know she's gonna do her thing with it, because she's been manifesting, having the kind of space that she has now, and being able to, dress it up and make it look how she wants it to. So like I said, super excited for her, and that's where I'm leaving now, headed home after another long day. Noodle ate, because I be updating on Noodle or whatever. I think we went somewhere. I went to do something, and I was like, what, I'm just leaving the mouse in there. It was a frozen thaw one or whatever, so I'm leaving it in there. If you're hungry, you'll eat it. If not, whatever. Came back, seen the big belly, didn't see the mouse. Cool, okay, you ate. So we back on track with this. Like I said, it didn't eat last week or whatever. And what else we got? Spoke about my eye trying to come out of my head. Talked about all of the jobs. Oh yeah, no, I forgot. So my pops, he ended up telling me that my brothers, his sons, they were out of town or whatever. And so he's like, man, I might need some help, because he's a plumber by trade or whatever. And he's like, I gotta dig trenches and this, that, and the third, and I need your help putting the dirt back. And I'm like, hey, just let me know. I've been telling you, if you need my help, don't hesitate to call me right now, because, up until what's today? Today, technically it's Friday now. I ain't had no job this whole time, so that's all I was telling you. Hey, use me while you can, because Eyes is the employer now, and I work at, we ain't talking about what companies, because we're gonna keep a clean face, say nothing good nor bad about no company. So we, like I said, you never know who will find this. We ain't gonna do nothing to mess up no opportunity. So I'm like, well, he know where I'm, supposed to be starting on Monday. So I'm like, all right, it's the weekend, I got you. And it worked out, because that full-size bed I ended up doing where I said it didn't have any hardware, but it's like you had to get the screws or whatever. What was I saying about that one? I was supposed to, no, not that one. I did do that on Sunday afterwards. the coffee bar that I said was closer to where I grew up at. I was supposed to do that one on Saturday in the morning, and it worked out because they reached out to me and were like, hey, we'll have to reschedule to during the week because the client had something to do with family. I'm like, all right, that's cool. So that worked out just perfect. I was able to go help my pops Friday evening, Saturday, and early Sunday or whatever. And it was interesting because he told me like, hey, go get 2 helpers or whatever. I'm like, I think you should go do that, but whatever. So I go get him, and he, is used to hiring help or whatever, and help. Everybody he's dealt with has, a standard rate or whatever of around this. Boom. So it's this much money. This is what I, could pay you per hour or whatever. Because I had him follow me or whatever, I gave him directions, the 2 helpers, and I was like, hey, we get back, and my pops, his partner's there or whatever. One of his partners, they like be working with him, been working with him since he started. And so he tells me like, hey, we pay this much an hour. And the lead guy, he was younger, but he was the more outspoken, and I think you can kind of tell he probably run crews or whatever, or has his own, like he the not the boss, but he be directing when he working typically, with the population that he works with. But this ain't your job, and you ain't the boss here. So he's like, no, we don't do hourly or whatever, $200 a piece, and we'll work for an hour or 2. I'm like, whoa, wait, what? Hang on now. So I was like, yeah, I know my papa ain't gonna be feeling that. So when he get back, we working. I'm over there grinding. I get around him and just me and him like, hey, yo, he want XYZ, right? And he like, what? I'm like, yeah, that's what he said. So he don't do hourly or whatever. He flat rate, both of them, boom, boom, boom. And he like, oh, okay, well, if I'm gonna pay him that, I'm dang sure finna, put him to work, like, not going crazy hard, but, oh yeah, like, we need to do some digging anyway, so that worked out perfect, that he want more money. So I'm like, he come back around, to help him. I'm like, hey, we got a dig right here, whatever. He was dig. Oh no, man, I'm not feeling that, F that, da-da-da, whatever. He like cussing on his breath, so I guess he go over there and tell my pop, like, hey man, and you want me dig, you had to pay me more than that. He like, but you trying to leave in an hour or 2 and looking for a couple $100 for an hour or 2 of work? We think you're a doctor? We're not doing that. Don't worry about it, man. We'll get it done. So it was him and it was another guy, whatever. It was 2 helpers. So the younger one who had followed me, look up and he leaving. I didn't see him leave, but we were working and we didn't see him for a while. Me and the older guy he had brought with him or whatever. And so the older guy was like, where's my friend? I'm like, man, you ain't seen me leaving back here. I'm back here with you. I don't know. I'm guessing he went to the store. So he's like, yeah, I guess he went to the store. I'm like, yeah, maybe not. Fake me, well, you know what I mean? So my friend, he come back. I don't know. He should. I would imagine. If he your friend and he left you and didn't say nothing, that's kind of bananas, but whatever. That's exactly what happened. So I go tap in my pocket. I'm like, hey man, did Buddy leave? He's like, yeah. He, complaining, da-da-da, whatever. I got time for that. We here to work. So I just gave him, half of what he wanted and told him to have a good day. And he ain't got to worry about me calling him for no help no more. And so, like I said, the other one, he stayed or whatever, grinding, knocked it out or whatever. And he was like, just saying, like, if you need some help, holler at me, let me know, whatever. I'm like, all right, I got you. So, and my pop said the same thing or whatever. So, I don't know. We'll see what happens with that. But that's why I was just make sure I remember to say that before I forgot. So, that was that. And I forgot to mention, I think I forgot to mention M15, the book that I was listening to was, I had the Intelligent Investor Week 14, How to Win Friends and Influence People. I feel like that was important and pivotal for me to learn some of the concepts with me, rejoining corporate, especially where I want to be. So I'm on the very excited side or whatever about the way things are shaking out or whatever. So that's that. And like I say, man, I started work on Monday. I had a verification of my passport earlier today. Like, yep, everything's signed, everything's secure, so you solid, you good to go, da-da-da. And I'm like, man, that sound good to me. Okay, cool. So it's like, any questions? I always got questions. So I asked a couple of them. Some of them she had answers to, some of them she didn't. I'm like, I'm gonna figure it out either way, you know what I mean? But I like to, especially with like jobs or whatever, get as much information as possible so I can prep and prepare, come in and be, just as prepared as possible. Stay ready, you ain't gotta get ready. So she's like, I don't have no whole bunch of information. Your recruiter will probably have more, and you probably talk to them tomorrow. I'm like, all right, that's cool. So that was that, man. And like I said, I'm just really looking forward to Monday. I didn't show, but of course it had been almost like a year since I had a stylist, someone to do my hair, and then I lost my barber. I think the last time I saw him was like August or September, so didn't know where he was at. And it was like, you know what? I'm doing interviews and stuff. I can't be walking around here looking crazy, man. Especially if I end up, going corporate, which I got where I wanted to be, doing what I want to do. So I'm like, definitely ain't trying to come in here looking no kind of crazy. You know what I mean? And so I hopped on this app or whatever where you find barbers, stylists, etc. And I was like, nah, I want a one-person team, somebody that could do both. Tighten me up, whether that's braids, twists, or whatever, and shape me up. And I found, I think it was maybe, it wasn't 3, I know it's 2 for sure. So looked at one, looked at the other, and there were circumstances that made me I feel like their work is like very on par with each other as far as the quality. And so it was like, I'm cool with either one of those or whatever. The prices ain't crazy, even with the difference. The biggest thing was hang on, train of thought. I don't know what I was saying. Anyway. Yeah, man, like I said, we just getting ready for the week, man. I'm excited. Oh, okay, I remember. I was saying I wanted somebody to be able to do both. So like I said, I looked up the 2 or 3 that were, matter of fact, it might be 4, because I do remember it was 1, 2, I remember him, and I think it was one more or whatever. So the guy, it was like, I got a little bit of change or whatever, but them prices, whoo! An arm, a leg, and something else. Yeah, I ain't even gonna, sit here and say I don't have it. I know I wouldn't want to budget to pay that, so I was like, yep, no, I'm good, or whatever. And there were a couple women, so I looked at one. Like I said, there were nothing on the quality of work for the one that I didn't choose. It was more of some personal stuff there where it was like, yeah, nah, that's conflict of interest, that's gonna look weird. So I stick with this lady, which I did. It worked out. So like I said, I hadn't had a stylist in over a year, and I was just like having my hair out. So I got a twist, like one single like starter lock twist or whatever. I'm like, cool, I keep these in for as long as I can without my hair, being damaged or having to be broken apart to separate or whatever. Then I'd be straight. So I got a haircut. I have like I said, the twist, and I'm happy with what I got going on. Of course, it would have been much nicer if my hair was as long as it was before hair apocalypse happened or whatever. But ain't gonna grab no spilled milk, man. It is what it is. It happened. So move on. But got suited and booted. Got looking fresh and like somebody loved me again or whatever. So I'm just this weekend I'll be grabbing a little clothes here, a little clothes there, whatever. Give me a little first day in, first week little wardrobe or whatever. I want to really look, step or whatever. Put that on, dress to impress. So I'll be doing a little bit of shopping or whatever this weekend to get me some more stuff, get everything pressed up, head on the line, hung up, all ready for the week. So ain't no thinking about it, ain't no process of analysis. Nope, I've decided over the weekend. I've ironed, everything's prepared. So when I wake up, boom, hygiene, freshen up, throw this on, at the door. So I think that might be it, man. Like I said, we're just getting ready for the weekend because, hey, okay. I ain't gonna hold you. I'm kind of tired. So that's why I keep losing my train of thought or whatever. But just ready, man. Ready to go over here. Oh yeah, I was telling you some clothes. Give me a couple more outfits, whatever. Like I said, make sure everything is suited, booted, pressed out, and looking good. So when I wake up, I can just blind eye, pick a number, whatever, and just grab the clothes and go about my business, and we be straight. So, whew, we getting there. We are getting there, man. Monday is fast approaching. Business is going well. Life ain't been half bad, man. So By my calculations, I believe I have covered everything for my Sweet 16, week 16. You know what I mean? So that is all, folks. I'll talk about the book or whatever. I gotta make sure I remember to start a book tomorrow, so I can have, I don't know, something to prepare me mentally, emotionally for the corporate grind or whatever. Like I said, because I had been on it. Real talk, boy. This, then we straight. So, like I said, we're gonna get everything together, man, and go in here and show all the way out. So, in a good way. 2K been cool. I done had some really, really good days and some really, really trash days. So, whatever. It's a game. I just do it for fun. And I have been playing Brawl a lot more, too, Brawlhalla or whatever, and fighting on there. And I done found joy in it again. So, but the lady told me earlier today, like when I'll get my first check or whatever, I ain't tweaking it away. My biggest thing is, like I say, I'm working on getting this money up, get my savings together, and sitting for the yellow belt, 6 series yellow belt. So I got plans, and honestly, I'm already locked in. But especially come Sunday, the night before, day before with it, yeah, we already in there. Like I say, clothes all pressed up, house together, lunch packed and ready. I'm excited, man. We're gonna have a good one. So, as far as I can recall, that is it. I love you, my boy. Be kind to yourself. Mach 2. Don't forget, all of our goals and everything we're working on is gonna happen overnight. Plural with an S. It ain't gonna happen overnight. And in the famous words of that chump Rio, if you don't work, you don't eat. And if you don't grind, you don't shine. And I'm big greedy, so I gotta grind so I can eat. All right, my guy. I'll catch you next week in 17.